everybody, welcome to another special end-of-season episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Michael K. Hughes.
And I am Michael Albertin.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very laid-back, chill thing like we did for Season 5. This is the end of Season 6 Roundup, and it's kind of a big one.
I thought it was Wrap-Up.
Oh, damn it.
You told me it's Woody's Roundup,
That's
Season 6?
100% your fault.
I know.
We've had this conversation back and forth for the last, week and a half, where it's like, did we call it Roundup the first time? And that just sounds like Woody's Roundup from Toy Story. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's Wrap Up. That was 100% your fault. It's Ralph all over again.
A little too Ralph.
A little too Ralph. But yeah, this is, we hit 200 episodes, overall.
Which is fucking incredible, right? At the time of this recording, I think we're 207 or so already.
Yeah, that's...
I always minus one because I don't consider GMF 2.0 when we introduce you as an episode.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Everything else to me is like episode.
Quote,
yeah, no, it's a fucking achievement, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I haven't been around for most of it, but I'm still taking credit.
You're getting close to have been on. I'm sure at this point with the amount that we pump out since you joined, I'm sure you're getting close to being on more than 50% of it. So
it definitely feels like about 100. So yeah, that's insane.
Because you joined us 78, and we're now at 124 or 125 time you're hearing this get released.
That's wild.
So almost half of what we start. Because no, not there. But we're getting there.
Then all the MCU and all the minis. Wow, a lot of stuff. A lot of new stuff. And we hit the 50,000K download milestone.
Yeah, it was coming for a while, and that was so awesome to finally hit it though.
Was that January? Something like that?
I have it. I can tell you exactly, but it would take a second.
Sometime in the winter. So then we did the whole thing with you, me, and Bill.
March 4th.
Oh, okay, March.
It wasn't that long.
End of March.
And beginning of March, when we hit that number, right now we're in between 55 and 60. So at the time of this recording.
Awesome.
All right, no, I mean, big milestone to hit for a podcast, especially for a podcast with no actual funding. None of us are celebrities. We're just two guys it was four guys started the podcast and then went to two later.
And Bill in the MCU, which is still going on. Inside Baseball, we just finished recording Captain Marvel about an hour ago, so we're getting there. We've got two more left.
Yeah, it's...
But one of them is Endgame, so...
yeah. Hey, people do love our MCU.
Good. I know my brother does.
I've talked to people, they're like, hey, you gonna do more MCU episodes? You gonna do more? I'm like, man, I'm just trying to finish what we're already planning. Like, I can't even think of extra after this.
We are absolutely going to need a break from Marvel stuff after Far From Home.
Oh, yeah.
The movies and stuff. We got other plans. We'll talk about that later. So what else? We started Top 10s back in February. That's been a lot of fun. I love those things.
That has been. We recorded 2 so far since we started them. No, 3. What the hell am I saying?
3. Yeah.
Or 2 released 2.
2 are out, yeah.
Oh, they are fun. They're definitely a nice change of pace, too. And hey, people love Top 10. Look at freaking Mojo.
Yeah, the fact that people still have millions of views and watch Mojo, kind of, yeah. But we got
Top 10s.
Top 10 mechs will be out anytime now, right?
You're making me pull up my notes again.
Uh-huh.
But yes, it will be out in May 27th, so around the time you're hearing this.
Sweet. That was a fun one. Tony, back from the Donkey Kong Country episode, he's always fun.
Hey, I like that game. He's a good podcaster. He's really fun to work with.
He's quite fun. He brings a good positive energy.
We need that sometime.
Well,
no, the top 10's have been a great idea and kind of something new to do with the show. And I'm glad that we started it.
Yeah, we did top 10 handheld games with Adam, and then
top 10 vehicles with the Reese.
Oh yeah, yep.
My hot Reese. I can't even say his name. Yeah, I did interview him once, so we did. He actually created a game called I think "Don't Cross the River" or something about across the river. It's a visual story.
That was like "Throw Me by the River" or something.
Yeah, just "Throw Me by the River." You are 100% right. I butchered his name. I interviewed him. That was this season. I think it was this season.
I've done a couple interviews.
I actually
had a big one.
Thanks to Facebook, I ended up. I was able to interview Daniel Kabuko, who was the art director on Legacy of Kain Defiance. He worked on Lost Planet 3, Rise of Argonauts. He's worked on a lot of games. He's still in the industry. He works for Sony now, and we couldn't call him anything current, of course.
Yeah.
But he can say he works for Sony. And he's still in the field, and we got to interview him mainly about Legacy of Kain, but we did end up talking about a bunch of different things, but that was really cool to talk with the guy.
Yeah,
that was super fun.
Pretty well known how I feel about that series. but I will say that the art direction is really cool. I like that gothic.
He wasn't
art style.
the issues with Defiance are more of just the age of the game.
Yeah.
And the issues with Blood Omen that I have partly come from just the style of games at that time. I have a hard time with PS2 era, even though we played a lot of fucking PS2 this season, I feel like, or in general lately.
Did he work on the original at all?
No, he came out on Soul Reaver.
Oh, okay.
He's in Soul Reaver, Soul Reaver 2, and Defiance. He did not work on Blood Omen 2.
I would love to know if he had any Silicon Knights stories from that first one.
I don't think so. We didn't go down that road. Because Soul Reaver, they took over because Silicon Knights made the first Blood Omen, and then EDO said they own the rights to it. Silicon Knights said they didn't, and then, well, they did. And then they made Soul Reaver and connected it to the series.
Mm-hmm. That's still a jumbled mess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's very entertaining mess to hear about.
Oh,
that was really fun interviewing him. I mean, and all because on Facebook he had posted talking about his Patreon where he's trying to continue Legacy of Kain, and it was because I saw that. I said, "Hey, you want to do an interview on the show?" And he said yes, and I'm like, "What?" He said yes.
What?
And I mean, I was surprised, and then we it worked out. We did, and it was great talking with him. That's something that's definitely been one of the highlights that I've had so far. I haven't done many interviews. I want to say I think Ballby, that was my first ever really interview, and I wasn't still learning how to do interviews.
Yeah. We got some more that we want to try for. They're going to reach out to in the future.
Yeah. I have a few plans. I just haven't really I got too much shit going on in my real life right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Work sucks for both of us, so especially during the summer, so yeah.
Work will calm down for me in the fall, and then things will be better. And then I'm gonna reach out for more interviews again.
Yeah, cool. And we will put them on the new YouTube page, the YouTube channel that is just the show, audio only. But some people prefer to listen to it that way. So hey, power to them.
People do. We actually do get a decent amount of comment. Well, we don't get a decent amount. We get some comments here and there. People say, "Hey, I enjoy your show," or they like it is on YouTube, and it's kind of nice. I kind of keep up to date now. I'm I know. I want to say I think it was last season when I went through and started uploading everything, and it was just taking me, forever. There was so much content. But yeah, now it's all on there, and we actually hit over the 100 subscribers, and we have our custom URL too, which I don't do anything with, but we have one.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're over 200 subscribers now. 205 at the time of this recording.
And it's grown a lot. I mean, people enjoy it, so it works for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I want to do video content someday, but someone else is not so sure about that yet.
Yeah, well, that's a lot more work than
then we got to go live
to put into it.
Because I'm not editing video.
Yeah. God, live episodes. That sounds bad.
I mean, I would edit the audio, but not the video part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does not sound good. That's why I'm not ready for it yet.
Yeah, that's good. I think it might even be more work than you're expecting.
Because I'd have to edit some videos. I'd have to put the intro on, and I'd have to actually make a real intro.
Oh yeah. So. Someday. That's future Mike's problem.
Yeah, that's when we go live.
Like the Patreon. We got the Patreon now. We have no idea what to use it. Well, we have one idea what to do with it, but we'll see.
We haven't done anything yet with it. I have plans though. I want to make actual tiers and do stuff for people who want to, support us, but that hasn't happened yet.
But despite there being zero reason to, other than to support us, we have one patron.
Yes, we do. I don't even know. If you are listening to this, sir, thank you. Thank you very much, person.
Yeah, it was $8.
They pledged $8,
which is that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, it felt really confirming that somebody, hey, I enjoy your show that much, and it was really affirming.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. It's
surprising.
It's great. It's cool enough just to know that people listen to us and actually like it, but to be willing to give us money is just wild.
Hey, it keeps the lights on.
Yeah. Keeps Podbean running.
I'll pay for my Podbean for the first time. I'm okay with that. I don't mind.
Well, that's all the new stuff this season that I have in my notes.
Yeah, that we've done. Yeah, I mean, did we mention WYP?
Oh no, we sure haven't.
We started, thanks to your idea, what you been playing?
What are you playing?
Oh, yep, that's like that.
Yeah, just sit and kind of like this, where we just sit and BS about games and movies and TV shows, just congruent stuff or current stuff is the word it's looking for. Just
stuff that isn't on the show, which is not for I don't play anything not for the show really.
Yeah, well, we'll start bringing on guests once we have a better idea of what the thing's going to be, and that'll help fill out the show a little bit.
Yeah, we want to add new things for you guys.
You can always hear about the current games that we're not buying that people are playing and talking about. So,
well, you play more current than I do because of GameFly.
Yeah, I try. It's not always great.
I don't play anything current, though. I don't play anything even remote that isn't for the show really anymore. I just can't.
Yeah, well, you have a more social life than I do too. You and Tiff go out and do stuff, and
and I play
wife and
Destiny.
My wife and I are content to stay home most of the time. So
I am too.
Yeah,
she just likes showing out, which is good. And I like to stay home and hide.
Well, you want to start diving into season 6? Talk about some of our highlights in the actual episodes.
Yeah, I can definitely do that once I pull my notes back up.
I have the next season pulled up. Does that help?
A little.
There we go.
We did start, like, season 6 started with a great game. We played Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah, because that was the 2-year anniversary, which I guess I should have mentioned, too.
Yeah, we had 2 years since the show started and haven't missed a week yet.
Which is awesome.
Which is also kind of surprising because most shows I know and have followed, they miss weeks here and there all the time. And somehow we have never missed a week in the show. Simply because I won't let it happen.
Yeah.
There's been time.
Much stuff as we record, there'll always be something to be put out.
Yeah, we started Ocarina of Time, and then we got to do Robotech Battle Cry this season too.
You make it sound like that's a good thing.
I got to finally cross that game off my list of must-beat games someday off my backlog, and I got to talk with Greg Seward from Player One. So I mean that was fun.
Having Greg was a big get. That was a lot of good.
That was a lot of fun to talk to him too. Finally, after listening to him for years. I still listen to him. But just to knock out Battle Cry though, like it meant so much to me to finally beat that game. I don't think I'll ever play it again, but I beat it.
Sounds like my unicorn of the following episode with Gotcha Force is like. I'm pretty sure I talked about in that episode where I remember seeing it on GameStop's shelves. Just like, I should buy that. I'm like, nah, I don't. It looks weird. And then Jeff Cork pitching it for the Super Replay Showdown. It's like, man, Jeff Cork's like, I love that guy. That must be good. And then we got him to guest on that episode. And it's like, oh, I'm so glad I never actually bought this.
That's one episode that hasn't done super good for us because, it's a game that no one knows exists.
That did great for me. That was such a treat having Jeff Cork on there. I've always been a big fan of him ever since I started watching Replay and whatnot.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That was a fun time getting to talk with him about that game. And it's just such a weird-ass game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had a lot of weird-ass games this season, Yeah,
we tried to go... Like, we did Ape Escape 3, which was weird to me because I had never, for some reason, never played Ape Escape before. I don't really know why. Like, I look back at it and I'm just like, how have I missed this series that was on PlayStation 1, PS2? I just missed it completely. Yeah.
I mean, there was just the 3 major games, so I'm sure you were playing other stuff.
RPGs mainly.
Yeah, which, what kind of time sink that is.
I don't play RPGs anymore. Because if it isn't for the show, it's just really hard for me to play RPGs. But back in the day, especially in that time PS2 era when I didn't have much money, I would buy an RPG because that's going to last me longer.
Well, I don't think we'd planned it at the time, but now every 25 episodes is going to be some kind of RPG on the show. So it's something we can kind of plan ahead for.
It started with, I think, 100. I don't think 75. What was 75?
I will tell you in just a second. They're not numbered. That was before. Is that before?
That's before you joined.
Yeah. 79,
2007 year in gaming.
Oh, okay.
I think. No, Parasite Eve 2.
Oh, that was kind of an RPG?
I think. I could be off on because I'm just going off my notes. I'm not actually looking at the numbers. But it's one of those. Either way, it wasn't. It's more of a newer idea where I like every 25 to be a big RPG.
So it really started with 100 with Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, 50 was Link to the Past, so that was a big game.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe bigger games, but now it's become RPGs.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I said, that way we can get them on the show and kind of plan ahead to make time to be able to play them.
And that way we actually play them.
Yeah, like our RPG. That was a lot of fun to revisit that one.
Oh, another first thing that we did during the season is we did our first, or only one so far. I did a TV season. We covered Mandalorian Season 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I forgot completely about that. That was back in January. I've been meaning to do season. Well, that's when I recorded it. It was released later. I've been meaning to do season 1, but I just haven't. There's too much other stuff going on.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, yeah, we definitely want to do more seasons.
Oh yeah, we got plans for TV shows. Don't you worry.
No, I'm not worried. And we covered Transistor finally. You get to play that game.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Henry Chan was a great guest to have on that because I've talked to him in the Overblood Facebook group that every time Transistor comes up, I see him in the comments. So I knew he was a fan. So when I had originally put that on the show, I immediately suggested that we get him for it, and he's quite knowledgeable about that game. That was a fun episode.
That did not get enough views though.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
So if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's a good episode. I know the number is 113.
People that play the game like it, but I don't know that it's a super popular game otherwise.
No. I'm very glad that I played it because it was another one of those that I remember being interested in it because I really liked Bastion, but I also stayed away from it because I didn't have a 360 at the time. Or I didn't have Xbox One. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Xbox One came out, I stayed away from RPG or games. I stayed away from next gen for a while. It took me a while to jump on the Xbox One wagon because I was just going through issues in my life.
I didn't get a PS4 until they announced Fallout 4. I'm like, well, it's not going to be for PS3, so I might as well upgrade. And that one didn't pay out super well, but it's still nice to have.
I've never played it.
It's fine. It's
I
not
want
as
to
good
play
as
it.
3 or New Vegas, but it does some cool stuff and it does some weird choices. But
okay.
I think my favorite episode of this season was probably Arkham City with Kenneth. Kenneth Sanity. That was such a fun episode. That was a great weekend because that was yeah, Two Guns, bitch. That was the same weekend we recorded for TMNT 2, Secret of the Hughes, and just both of those episodes were just such a riot with the running jokes and whatnot.
A little too Ralph.
A little too Ralph.
Yeah, that was really a fun time, and I think we needed that too and we listen to the show. We record 2 to 3 episodes a weekend because I'm insane.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And the week before that was the week that I was really, really just off base completely. That was Mega Man Legends and that second top 10 where I just was not in the mindset that I should have been for recording a show that people listen to. But
it happens.
So that next weekend, I feel like I really brought it, and they both turned out really well.
Mm-hmm. Work beats us down sometimes. Just just in the grind of work.
And Kenneth's coming back here real soon. We're going to record the next top 10, which is the top 10 superhero games, and that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know when that's coming out yet, but we're recording it soon. No, Mega Man Legends was another one that thanks to you, I finally got to check that box.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing, but to me, it means a lot to me when I finally get to play games that have been on my backlog. I'm going to play this, and like years and years and years and years, and then finally I go and do it, and it means a lot to me. It really does.
How much of that was the reasoning and starting the podcast in the first place? Just an excuse to play these backlog games.
It was partly. Part of it was, as I've said before on the air, but it's been a while. Just that I had wanted to do this. I was 30, and I'm like, I need to do this. I was thinking 31, and then I had friends that I wanted to do it with in real life that I knew, but I knew that they wouldn't have the time. Like Rich Red Fox has been on the show many times. And he was one of the people I thought, we could do this, but I'm like, there's no way he's gonna have the time to come on every week and play games and talk to me.
Yeah, for sure. It's quite the commitment, as I can attest to over the last 6, 7, 8, 9, oh, God, almost a full year now.
Full year, July 4th.
Yeah, so about 10 months now. That's wild. Wild.
I'm 100% sure that's a big part of it was to play games that I never played and just talk and give me a reason to and talk about it. Because I would tell people about games I'd play randomly anyway, just in person, and they'd be like, okay, and now
yeah. It's like Jeff Cork, where else was he going to get an outlet to talk about Gotcha Force, and where else was I going to be able to talk about my love for X-Men Destiny? Which
not a bad game. It's not a good game.
It's not as bad as people on the internet make it out to be. It is a very shallow game, but there's some kind of charm to it.
I mean, honestly, it's just a beat 'em up. That's just how you have to recognize. You have to recognize it as a $10 budget game, as a beat 'em up with X-Men characters in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you paid $64, I understand why someone would be upset. But I paid $10. I mean, I think I paid $10, but that game is hard to find now because all the new copies were destroyed.
Yeah, right. Oh, boy, that whole thing.
That's a good story.
What do you think was your favorite episode?
Oh, God. And I'm looking through right here of everything we have covered this season. Probably the interview. I know it's kind of cheating, but the Danny Kabuko interview.
Oh yeah, that's a big get. So
that, just because I was so excited and nervous, because I haven't done a lot of interviews, and this is somebody who I know had been interviewed before by professional journalists, and I'm not professional. I mean, I'm becoming professional, kind of, I guess. But,
in there.
Professional being you make money off it. And
gotcha.
So to be able to interview somebody like that and be able, and people have told me have enjoyed the interview, and to be able to conduct an interview that I felt turned out really well, like it felt really empowering too.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to actually okay, I can conduct interviews with people who work in the industry who are interviewed by, actual journalists and stuff, and see all right at it.
And not look like an idiot.
Yes.
Good stuff.
So that was probably my favorite, but there's been a lot of really good ones. Like you said, Arkham City, that was a lot of fun. I mean, Defiance was fun just because we got to wrap up that series. I mean, I don't ever want to play it again, but we wrapped up our first series on the show.
Yeah, I got another one next season.
Who the hell would have thought Legacy Kane be the first series to get wrapped up on this show?
Nah, not me.
Not me either. And the only reason it even ended up because Soul Reaver did really, really good. So we did Soul Reaver 2, we did Blood Omen 2, and then we just ended up finishing up.
Yeah, well, it's easy for me to say because I wasn't on a single episode of them, so...
No, actually nobody was but me and Julian. I mean, it started off with, the original... Well, not the original, because DJ had already left, but the me and the two other guys. Mm-hmm. And then as the series progressed, only it was me, Julian, and them two on Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver 2, we lost one of them. Blood Omen 2, we lost the other, just me and Julian. Then we just finished it, just me and Julian.
Yeah, Blood Omen 2, as we talked about in the Season 5 wrap-up, that it nearly killed me. It put me in the hospital for 6 days, so... And by the time Defiance came around, I'm just like, you guys just go ahead and finish this. I'm not going to have anything to talk about anyway.
We also did our first Final Fantasy on the show.
Kind of. There's a little asterisk. It's not the first... They're not the first words in the title. It doesn't count.
It turns the server as Final Fantasy 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was fun.
Where I put it at a higher rating than you and Adam did, even though I skipped the story and all that.
That was fun talking with Adam, though.
Adam's always fun.
Adam's always a great time to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to get him. We're definitely going to be getting him on at some point again in the future.
Absolutely.
And we played Binary Domain. I convinced you to pick.
We did do that.
You were very unhappy with me.
It was not a fun game. I was not happy to play that one. I did not finish that one.
There were a bunch of games this season that you didn't finish, but one that you did finish, Force Unleashed. We did that first one. That was the only Star Wars content this season. Well, besides Mandalorian this season.
Yeah.
That's a good game. We got to talk with Brian Kreesch from Draft Punk's podcast.
Yeah, that was fun.
He was a good guest.
Speaking of other people's podcast, Bill launched his during the course of this season, the Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker, and it is a good listen, and Mike and I will both be on it at some point. So
you're already on it, technically.
Yeah, the episode's just not out yet as of this recording, but
yeah,
that's good stuff.
He's so different. Like I was listening to, he has music and stuff, and I'm like, wow, he puts a lot more effort into it than I'm willing to. I'm quantity over quality, I guess.
Yeah, right. Understandable.
I just can't. I'd rather just produce tons and tons of the stuff, and I think it sounds good. Like, yeah, I've thought about doing music. But I'd have to create my own music, and I was like, yeah, that's okay. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I can get royalty-free stuff.
But then I have to put music in.
This is what makes me think that video is not happening anytime soon.
You're probably not wrong. If I would have started, I'd record and be like, holy shit, this is a lot of work, and then just stop. I mean,
so what game this season would you say was the biggest surprise? The one that you either enjoyed the most or just thought you were going to enjoy and it turned out to be a big turd? Like Binary Domain?
Ooh. Unfortunately, probably the one that I didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would be Link's Awakening DX.
Yeah, that one's kind of starting to show its age, I think.
Which sucks. That is a great, great game.
And how Adam feels about having to go back and figure out that your old memories of a game were not as high as you thought they were.
And I think the one that was a real big surprise how much I enjoyed it was the one that I knew nothing about. And we also had Greg Seward on, Portal 2.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That was one I had I'd played Portal 1, but I had never played Portal 2, had no plan to play Portal 2. And then you put it on the show, and I'm like, well, I guess, okay, I'll finally play this. And I was excited, but that game really surprised me how much fun it was and how just amazing it is of a game. It still holds up just fine.
Yeah, the writing is impeccable on that.
J.K. Simmons.
My favorite is how much you enjoyed Ape Escape 3, because that is, as I said in that episode, one of my favorite PS2 games, and it doesn't get any love, but to hear you actually really enjoy it made me really happy.
I forgot a lot about that game, but it was a really good game.
It's so fun.
And I guess
I think I played it again since we did that episode.
It's not very long.
No, it's not. Especially if you don't try and get everything as you go.
No, wait till later when you have to come back anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my mistake when I played that game. I would go through, finish the level, go right back in the level, and I didn't realize it. No, just wait till the end of the game. You got to go back anyway.
Your mistake was also trying to get all the monkeys.
You need all the monkeys
in general.
Oh, you don't go for the secret ending.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
But then you really beat the game.
Well, then you should have won for all the Riddler trophies in Arkham City, because it's the same thing.
That's never happening. Oh, and we didn't mention this yet on this episode here, but we also played, where was that? 13!
Yeah, we played 13.
Yeah, for episode 114, because I screwed up on that one.
That was another one I didn't finish.
That game, I'm glad I played it because it's been on my list forever, but it was not good. It really showed its age.
A little bit.
And I was really sad. I was really, really sad. So
I finished 14, so I got over half.
Okay.
Like Castlevania 3, I beat more than once, so I feel like that should count for extra points.
Me too. But I cheated, but yeah.
I didn't. I was really surprised that we played the Japanese version, like we said in that episode, but it makes it a little easier, but it's still an NES game, so it's pretty rough.
Oh, and talking of, you mentioned earlier, like, a guest that were like a big deal. I got to talk with Dave Wheeler for Kingdom Come comic episode.
Oh, yeah?
Dave Wheeler's a comic artist that I know in the area.
Yeah, that episode didn't do super great for the show, but yeah, I'm glad you had a good time with it. So
I did. A good comic.
Yeah, I don't have any notes that aren't the main episode, so.
No, you're good. I have the whole list. I mean, we didn't record a lot of comics that went out. I'm recording less and less now with those. I mean, we're still going to keep doing them, but might take we have so many ideas that might.
Yeah, we do have some comic episodes we want to do, but it's going to be fewer, I think, in between.
Yeah, just until other stuff we run out of ideas for other stuff and kind of bounce around again.
Once MCU is all up, then we can start branching out.
Next season it will be done.
Yep, that'll be.
Oh, and we also recorded Tangled this season earlier in February.
We did
with our wife.
Fun. Have my wife on for the second time. She was on Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Yeah, that was the previous season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was the last episode of season 5.
Yeah.
It's funny how we do these season wrap-ups. I don't really ever say seasons. Like, for the longest time, no one would have known other than we make jokes about it in the episodes.
Our arbitrary seasons.
Yeah, it's more just the picks, but it's nice having these season wrap-ups at the end of each one to kind of help show them off in a way.
Hopefully someone gets something from this, even if it's just hearing us act like goobers for an hour.
Yeah, agreed. We also played Ratchet & Clank Going Commando this season.
Yeah.
That game surprised me.
It surprised me too, and not in a good way. Because I thought that was where the season, or where the series is like really starting to turn around. It's like, oh man, this was the one. This was the first one that was super good. It's not how that works.
If I remember it, I enjoyed it a lot.
I think you did.
I know you did not.
And then I immediately played up your arsenal in like 2 big settings. And I'm like, oh, okay, so it was this one.
Which will be on the show at some point, right?
At some point. Probably not. Well, not next season. Probably not the season after. So sometime next year. Yeah.
And we also did Super Mario RPG.
Mm-hmm.
As the last game to wrap up this season.
Yeah, that was fun to revisit, but Paper Mario is still better. So
I have absolutely no recollection of Paper Mario other than I remember. I know that I beat it, but I couldn't tell you a single thing about it other than he gets one ally, like one ally at a time in battle, and you get different allies. That's all I remember.
And they're all based on enemies from the Mario series.
So it's like, so it wasn't hard. Like going back to Mario RPG wasn't hard for me because I have no recollection of later on. Plus, I never played any Paper Mario game past the first one for 64, and that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, Thousand Year Door is still good, and then they kind of drop off. Someday we'll have to put Mario and Luigi on because I've never finished it.
I've never finished the first one either.
I think it's one of those games where I got to the last boss, I got my ass kicked, and just never went back to it.
Yeah, and thanks to you, I got to replay Infamous this year.
Yeah, that was another letdown.
I enjoyed it so much, though.
I don't know what's wrong with me. It's just I can't play these games anymore.
It's games that have many sequels where the sequels get better, and you go back to a game, you're like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm. Like Infamous Second Son, which I know people kind of hate on, is still my favorite in the series. So going back to the original is a little tough.
And we did Illusion of Gaia. I got that marked off. Something that I've been wanting to replay again for a while.
Mm-hmm. That game is way longer than I remember it being.
Mm-hmm. It's also one that I could have done without doing on the show, but I just wanted to. It was just a part of it was there's certain games from my childhood, and that's one of them that I'm like, I need to cover on the show just because it's a show that I'm creating that I should be putting things that are games that really affected me as a kid. And that was one of them.
Totally.
I mean, they didn't do super well because it's a game. It's a Super Nintendo game most people don't even know about. And we also did Snake Eater.
Yeah, that was fun. I played that. God, I ended up beating that like 3 times, I think. Something crazy.
That game does not age badly.
It doesn't. It's so fun.
I mean, I cheat because I play with the easy gun as I did in the episode that I talked about. But man, has that game always been good. That's probably my favorite Metal Gear.
Oh yeah, easily. Like far and away. I'm curious how 4 is going to go because I've played it one time and only one time.
Same.
So
I mean, it's coming. I want to cover 2 and Twin Snakes before we get to 4.
Mm-hmm.
But we will definitely have to cover 4.
Go ahead and spoil that. Twin Snakes is coming next season, so look forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, should we? I think we covered almost everything about this season that we wanted to.
Yeah, I think so.
Should we mention? I should pull up your notes again.
I mean, I don't think we had any big IRL stuff go on this season other than work being, but
no, not really. I mean, I bought a lawnmower, but that doesn't count.
Woohoo!
No, nothing really.
I wasn't in the hospital. I didn't lose any family members, so yay. Yeah, I guess the biggest IRL stuff is the stuff for the show that we already talked about.
Yeah, but we should talk about the new shows that are coming out next season, though.
Oh, man, I'm excited for this stuff.
And I can't remember if we said this last season, but we are going to release the first recovered episode that has been in the can for a few months.
I don't know that we've really mentioned that at all. That we want to...
I can't remember because I know it was probably planned a lot, and I was going to release it earlier this season, but I just kept having other stuff go out.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't wanted to. So
basically, recovered is games that have already been on the show, but we're kind of recovering them, kind of taking a fresh look on things that have already been on. Of course, I wasn't on most of those anyway, so
we won't be on either recovered because there'll be stuff from usually the first 25 I want to do, or early stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the only one that. So we did one, and that should be coming out hopefully June, July. Hopefully June. I think I just got to kick it out of the nest. Unless
we do that other one first that we talked about doing for the first one.
Because I need to kick it out.
But
and then the 2 other shows are your ideas.
New ones. The first one is Title Belt, where Mike had originally pitched. He's like, I want to do an episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, and compare it to Hyperstone Heist. He's like, it doesn't have to be a full thing. We're just not going to do it often. And I'm like, well, we could do arcade games and compare them to the console counterparts. And he's like, yeah, okay, we could do that. So came up with the Title Belt. That's going to be a whole thing.
There won't be a lot of them probably because depending on how much we do, there might be a lot of work involved.
Yeah, because it's going to be 2 games or a game and a movie, and it's going to be twice as much work. But
so we will have one coming out next season though.
Mm-hmm. And I've got a list of other ones, so they will happen occasionally. But the other one, the bigger one, I think, is Pilot Test, where we're going to take the first episode of a TV show and kind of go through the normal Games on Mom format, and at the end we will see if it passed the test to make us want to watch more. And I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, we're going to start that next season. It'll probably be later because the MCU will be wrapping up August, September, depending on... It's one of those months. It should be wrapping up unless things happen and we don't record Endgame as planned.
And as far as the first episode of that, we don't know because you are going to vote on it, dear listeners.
It would be polls on Twitter.
Some point after this episode goes live, we're going to put a poll. I think we're going to do just these 4. I think it's what we had agreed on. It'd be a poll between Batman the Animated Series, The Cat and the Claw Parts 1 and 2, Justice League, Secret Origins 1 through 3, Spider-Man, Night of the Lizard, and X-Men, Night of the Sentinel. So like the 2 biggest DC and the 2 biggest Marvel cartoons.
Yeah, so that will be, follow the Twitter. You'll see it on Twitter. I'm going to post it on there to vote, and some of the Facebook groups that I frequent, I'll be posting it in there too.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm really excited for that.
Patreon. I'll put the poll on Patreon. So if you're on Patreon, you can cast your vote too.
Yeah, there you go.
Only need $1 to throw us $1.
We might even give you extra points for the voting.
Oh yeah, we can get more Patreon. I'm going to go with that. But that's definitely something to look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the new stuff. I'm excited about all of it because the lineup for the next season's real good too. So
yeah, there's nothing in next season that I can really say like I don't really want to play that. Like this season had a couple like Ape Escape 3 I didn't want to play. Legacy Kane Defiance I didn't want to play. Yes, I know that's my pick.
There's one in next season, but you already know what it is. That I'm kind of
Robotech.
So, yeah, we're gonna do another Robotech game.
Most likely, yes. There's next season's still a little bit ironing now, but we got a lot more stuff planned.
Mm-hmm.
And I should say, because by the time you hear this, you already know what's going to be. So, and we're starting next season with BioShock, which I'm excited to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping to go finish it after we're finished recording here. So
I got to go find Ryan still.
What game are you most looking forward to next season?
I would say either Minish Cap or Metroid Prime.
Both solid entries.
Both are not until September.
Yeah, well.
So they're going to be late next season, but those are two that I'm really excited for because there are two games that I have never beaten but have played both, and I played Metroid Prime multiple times. I've started Metroid Prime and never finished it, and this will finally get me finish the game.
It's real good.
So I'm excited for that. What about you?
As for me, so I'm usually pretty mild when it comes to violence and the like, as we talked about in the Sin City episode, which was just awful. God. So, to be a complete hypocrite, I'm really excited to talk about Shadow of Rome for the PS2 because it is just hyper-violence at its best. It is such a blast to play. The half of the game, either way, and the half of it's stupid stealth, but...
Isn't it less than half of stealth?
Probably. Yeah, the arena combat's where the big focus is, but it's so much fun. I cannot wait to talk about that game.
I'm excited too. Because I remember that game came out around the same time Gladius came out, and they were doing and I was interested in it, but I never got around to playing it, and this will finally be my chance to play it.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so and then we're wrapping up Third Birthday too next season.
Mm-hmm.
Last Parasite Eve game.
Finish up the Parasite Eve series. Yay! It's better than 2.
Like I said, high bar, just like top men working on it. Yeah.
Yep, top men.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm sort of excited to play Third Birthday, but at the same time I'm not.
It's fine. It's not a Parasite Eve game, but it's fine.
We never got another one.
No, it's barely one to begin with. Well, I think we're getting to the end of this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about the end of this Woody's wrap up.
God, I hate you. So one final question: if you could have any game on the show with no restrictions, whether it be time or whatever, what would it be?
Final Fantasy 11.
Oh wow! You had an issue with that.
I put a lot of years into that game, but there is so much that I would love to talk about. But I'd have to experience it again, which is not easily. It can be done. Servers are still up, game still runs, but it would be a monster to try to do something. It's not going to happen. It's just that version of the game. But to be able to talk about that game.
Well, you just changed my answers by saying that, because now my answer is Marvel Heroes, because it just doesn't exist anymore, and it's such a fucking shame.
The amount of time you bring up that game. Time to replace that counter to 0 again, huh?
Yep. Right.
For 0 days, you thought about Marvel Heroes.
It sucks. It's so sad. I love that game.
And it doesn't exist online at all.
Nope.
No, 11's still up. My ex still plays it because I was talking to her and she was going back and replaying 11. And I'm just like, why? But there's a part of me that would love to just kind of dig into what that game is and the different areas and really but it's just so huge and I have so many memories attached to it.
Yeah. I guess when it comes to restrictions, that's the biggest thing is it's going to be time.
Yeah, like RPGs in general, that's why we don't do a whole lot of them. Like, I love the Final Fantasy series, but almost all of them would be a lot of planning involved.
Mm-hmm. Be longer episodes, too, so...
Yeah, like we did Super Mario RPG, which is, we were able, that didn't take us, we beat that in a week. I think both of us did pretty quick.
Yeah, it's definitely on the shorter side as far as RPGs go, but...
Like, I want to do Final Fantasy 6, and that's a long game, and there's a lot to unpack. Like, I want to do Final Fantasy 8 really bad. There's a lot to that game. Both will be on the show. So.
Someday we'll figure out a way to do it, but...
Probably 2-parters, which I've been very hesitant about, but I'm getting more into the idea.
Knights of the Old Republic was 2 parts.
Yeah, but 1 episode I just broke in 2 parts.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I thought about doing that again for, like, we do really long ones like Final Fantasy 8 or Final Fantasy 9. I don't really want to give up multiple weeks to one game because then people might not listen to it as much. They might think, oh, well, I don't want to hear them talk about it again.
Makes sense. Because
when I did the KOTOR Part 1 and Part 2, Part 1 got way more downloads than Part 2 did. So that kind of told me right there. People might click on it, okay, and like, I don't need to hear anymore.
Weird.
Yeah. That was a different time, though. Way different show.
Yeah, it's so crazy how far it's come since I joined.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's completely grown numbers wise. I think we were like 28,000 or 25,000 when you joined. Now we're over 50. So that too.
Over 65, I think, the last time I saw it. Awesome.
No, it's growing well.
Good. I'm glad people tune in every week to hear our garbage opinions about games that they probably don't care about. So
people they don't care about, they don't click it. Trust me, I can tell.
Yeah, that's just fine. That's fine. Everyone's got their thing. Well, I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for the new stuff. Recover, Title Belt, Pilot Tester, all coming soon. Sometime this season. So sometime before the end of the year. I know that's a huge window.
Well,
but
next season starts in October, and we start the following season with Spooktober.
Yeah, we had to cut the next season short because of that. Because it was going to be halfway into Spooktober. Like, we'll just wait. So look forward to another one of these weird things in October, I guess.
Well, we're drained as hell because it's the beginning of a bad time for us. We don't like Spooktober because neither of us are into horror.
No.
We both
should go better than last year, though.
Yeah, it depends on what I pick. We'll do less of it, though. There were 6 horror stuff last. We're only doing 5 weeks this time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that about wraps up the season wrap-up.
Yep.
Round up the season wrap-up.
Yep, there you go. Hit us with some plugs.
Well, first, I want to give a shout-out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy Bobby, a.k.a. Mike Tony from ZP Bite the Bullet. I also want to give a shout-out to our friend Bill Tucker, who has this show, A Gamer Looks at 40, which just got released not too long. Well, been on for about a few weeks at this point, so definitely go check him out. You'll see, You can go just Google Gamer Looks at 40, you'll find his podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have tons of other episodes. You can check out everything that we mentioned mostly in the season. It's already been done last season, so just kind of scroll through the last 20 numbered episodes and everything. You'll see all the stuff that we've done. If it caught your interest, like, oh, okay, I missed that episode, or you didn't realize we covered something, go check it out. We do movies, we do comics, we do games. Go look at all their other old episodes. And we have a Patreon. You can go on and support us, and we're going to start putting polls in Patreon. We might actually have one. At the time you're hearing this, I'm going to make a poll. I don't know who will vote in it because we only have one Patreon at the moment at the time of scoring, but I'm going to make a poll for the pilot test episode, so definitely go look at Patreon. That will be there. All you got to do, throw $1. You throw $1, put your vote in, and then you'll encourage us to do more.
Mm-hmm.
It really will. So $1, all I ask. And if you would please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Just search Games My Mom Found. You'll find all our social media accounts where I do constantly post what's going on upcoming with the show. So definitely do all that. And I think that's all I need to say. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.